Trudeau have the full support of his cabinet to stay on as Prime Minister?
Yes.
Simple yes?
Yeah.
Okay. And as a follow-up, would you like the opportunity in the future to lead this country if you were given the chance?
So full points for trying with that question. If the Prime Minister has the full support of his cabinet, then why would we contemplate what happens after he decides to leave?
Can you give us the story on Mark Carney? Is it over now?
I haven't had any conversations with Mark Carney myself. What I did say to a colleague of yours from Brunswick News, I think yesterday, is when the Prime Minister asked me to be the Finance Minister, he told me that I was going to be the Finance Minister in his government until the next election, that I was going to be the Finance Minister to present the next budget, and 2025 will be an election year. So that's the work that I'm doing. And again, I wasn't part of any conversations with Mr. Carney, but Mr. Carney isn't about to become Canada's Finance Minister in the short term. The Prime Minister asked me to start that work and to get ready for a budget in the spring.
And what advice would you give the Prime Minister to reset the government with a new cabinet?
Again, that's the prerogative of the Prime Minister. I may or may not have a conversation if he asks me views on some colleagues. Sometimes he has, sometimes he hasn't. Those are private conversations. If a member of Parliament or a minister talks publicly about those conversations, normally you wouldn't be part of that cabinet for long. And I really like the job I have, and I haven't finished, so I'm going to say that that should be decided by the Prime Minister, and I have full confidence in his judgment.
Right now, Canadians are struggling with the cost of living. I hear it everywhere I go. People cannot find a home that they can afford. They can't buy their groceries. And on top of that, we have Trump threatening tariffs at 25%, which put hundreds and thousands of Canadian jobs at risk. And instead of focusing on these issues, Justin Trudeau and the Liberals are focused on themselves. They're fighting themselves instead of fighting for Canadians. And for that reason, today I'm calling on Justin Trudeau to resign. He has to go. All options are on the table.
That's not an answer.
All options.
That's not an answer. What does this mean for your support with the Liberals, though? How can you say he needs to resign, but then you're not telling us what you're going to do for non-confidence?
I'm telling you that all options are on the table.
Right.
Will you support the Fez? And also, are you willing to continue to support the Liberals if there is a different leader aside from Trudeau?
Right now, that's not in front of us. There's no votes in front of us, but we will take each vote. And right now, literally, everything's on the table.
I respect the views of my colleagues. The New Brunswick MPs who've shared that view are friends of mine. They're people I respect. Some of them have been friends of mine for a couple of decades. If you think of a guy like Serge Cormier or René Arsenault that I've known for a long time, I recruited Jenica Atwin to the Liberal caucus. I'm very proud of that. She's a terrific MP for Fredericton. That's a view they're expressing. The Prime Minister listened carefully when that view was expressed to him. Colleagues did what is the appropriate thing. They, in a caucus meeting, expressed those views directly to the Prime Minister himself. He listened. He, in some cases, responded to specific things that were raised. And he said he would reflect carefully on what he's heard. That's how the process works. That's the way these things are decided. And I'm confident that the government will remain focused on the work that Canadians want us to focus on. if we're potentially 5 weeks away from 25% tariffs applied across the board to Canadian exports to the United States, Canadians would understandably, I think, be impatient with a government that looks at itself all the time. We shouldn't be looking inward. We shouldn't be worrying about ourselves. The government got the confidence of the House of Commons 10 times last week. So the opposition parties that are all outraged, they need an election right away, they voted confidence in the government 10 times last week. So Parliament comes back on the 27th of January. Mr. Trump is inaugurated on January 20th. The work that the Prime Minister asked me to do as the Finance Minister with issues around border security is to work with the incoming administration, and I'll have meetings over the Christmas holidays with some key players in the incoming Trump administration. So that's the work that I'm focused on doing, and I think Canadians would be impatient if we spent an inordinate amount of time focusing on ourselves.